Never gonna grow up, never gonna slow down. We were shining like lighters in the dark in the middle of a rock show.
It is the 2008 SEC home opener for the Florida Gators. After a big win in Knoxville last weekend, the Gators return home. They march their way into Florida Field, the Swamp, as they get set to take on Houston Nutt's Ole Miss Rebels, a club that comes in 2-2 on the year, while the Gators are ranked 4th in the country and have yet to have been beaten. They are 3-0. And hello again, everybody, and welcome to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. I'm Dave Neal. So glad you can be with us on our all-tell game of the week right here on Raycom Sports. The Florida Gators seem to be winning the battles in a lot of different ways, but one of the battles that Urban Meyer wanted to win when he became head coach at Florida was to dominate the home field. Well, since he has been the head coach of Florida, they are 21-1. They will try to make that 22-1 with a victory today over this Ole Miss club that comes in here much better than people would have expected. Well, Dave Archer joins us. And Dave, when you begin to talk about this Florida team on their quest for a national championship, a lot of people want to talk offense, but they've been getting it done on the defensive side of the football.
Really have been, and it's been about a change of attitude, a change about getting to the football. Charlie Strong said, how do I make that change? I got a young football team. He went back to 06 and found some tape of the national championship team, the team that held Ohio State did his 82 yards of offense in the title game. He said, that's how I want you to play, and that's what they've been doing. Spikes is their middle linebacker. He leads them in tackles, and he's a holdover of that team.
Yeah, led him a year ago with over 130 tackles last season. The guy is a monster on the defensive side of the football. He'll be trying to slow down this Ole Miss offense, and Houston Nutt in his first year has brought some offense with him, over 400 yards a game, but it begins and ends with this young man, Jevan Snead.
They're excited about Jevan Snead. He was a parade All-American in Texas, went to Texas, transfers to Ole Miss, and now he's ready to play. Threw 4 touchdown passes earlier in the year against Wake Forest. But over the last couple of weeks, Jevan's beginning to struggle. That's what happens with a young quarterback. 6 interceptions in his last 2 ball games. They're hoping that Jevan Snead that played against Wake Forest shows up today.
All right, with just a couple of moments before kickoff, let's take a look at our Toyota keys to the game.
Ole Miss will have to take care of the football. 6 turnovers against Vandy last week. 2 of those down close in the scoring zone. And for Florida, not the spread offense, but spread it out and get all these weapons involved. Tim Tebow has a plethora of people to get the football to. He needs to get all of them involved today.
Third member of our team, as always, Mr. Dave Baker. He's down on the sidelines. Let's check in with him. Buzz?
Hey, Dave-O, the place is rocking here in Gainesville. The Gators win the toss. They defer, so that means Ole Miss is on offense. And coming to Oxford with Houston Nutt is the Wild Rebel formation, as it's now called. Dexter McCluster, the H-back, will line back up. They've run this formation 22 times, and they're averaging over 10 yards a carry. To show how successful it can be in different places, look at what happened in the NFL this past Sunday. David Lee, the former Arkansas offensive coordinator, took it to Miami. It was the former Auburn Tiger, Ronnie Brown, who ran wild with it, and their big upset against New England. They're going to have that today, Dave, to keep this high-powered Florida offense off the field.
All right, Buzz, we are underway as Florida defers. They will kick off, and Mike Wallace takes the kickoff out to the 20 and stumbles out to the 21-yard line. This Ole Miss offense, over 400 yards a game. Dave Archer, they've got some guys who can run with the Gators.
Well, you heard Buzz just talk about the Wild Rebel formation. Dexter McCluster will be a major part of that, taking the snap at quarterback. We'll see that today. And Michael Orr, the big left tackle, he's a kid that actually probably could have gone to the NFL last year, but wanted to come back and play for Coach Nutt.
So Jevan Snead under center, handoff. Maybe a yard for Cordera Eason. Let's take a look at this Gator defense that has been the talk of the town of late.
Jermaine Cunningham is a guy that's coming around. He's becoming the Derek Harvey type of pass rusher that they need in this defense. Dustin Doe coming off of injury, Dave. Did not play against Tennessee last week. He's back in the lineup. And Joe Hayden, a guy that was victimized last year in this Ole Miss game by Mike Wallace. He's looking for revenge today.
A good secondary. If they can get some turnovers, those guys all have the capability of taking it back to the house, as we saw in the opener against Hawaii. Another run. Gets maybe a half yard. It's Eason again, and now Ole Miss looking at a 3rd down and Call it about 10 yards. But Jevan Snead, Dave Archer, we talked about it, his last 2 games have been somewhat of a struggle. Against Vanderbilt, just 12 of 25 with those 4 interceptions. But if you go back 2 games, at 6 interceptions, and he's just right around 50% completion.
Well, it's a tough situation to be in as a quarterback now at 3rd and long against the Gator defenses is fast and likes to bring pressure. Joe Hayden now, the corner, will slide in and play the nickel spot.
Out of the shotgun. 4-man rush. They'll swing it near side. Pass is caught by McCluster, but he is denied. That'll bring up a 4th down opportunity, and the Gator D holds.
Florida just plays zone. 4-man rush, plays zone. Makes Snead throw the ball underneath and then come up and make the play. Marky Anderson, the guy who comes up and makes it.
Rob Park will punt it away, averaging just a shade over 37 yards a kick. And, of course, the dangerous man is back to return at the 25. Brandon James already with 2 punt returns for touchdowns this season, and he did one last week, 78 yards against the Volunteers. James runs up to the 35, bobbles it, called for the fair catch. So Florida will scrimmage from the 35-yard line on their opening possession. And a good place to start. You look at Brandon James against Tennessee put together a nice little afternoon returning kicks. But I mean, he seems like that happens every single Saturday when he's back returning punts for this. He's like you get an extra down on offense.
Boy, that's a great way to put it. He's an extra weapon on offense. And so often that offensive group gets ready to run on the field, and they have to backtrack because Brandon James is running to the end zone.
There's Tim Tebow. His numbers aren't nearly as impressive as they were a year ago in his Heisman Trophy campaign, but still coaches say that he's been very effective. First pass going deep. It is incomplete. Take a look at these offensive lineups for Tennessee. Percy Harvin seems to be getting healthy. That's bad news for the opponents.
Yeah, what can you say about Percy Harvin? We'll see him carry the ball a little bit more in the backfield, where he averages 9 yards a carry over his career. And Jim Tart now back in lineup. Missed the first couple of games, was back against Tennessee. He, as Urban Meyer said, is the stabilizer of my offensive line.
Aaron Hernandez, the tight end. That handoff goes to Keyston Moore. He got maybe 2 on the play. Patrick Trahan brings him down. Speaking of Patrick Trahan and this Ole Miss defense, Parade Jerry healthy. That's good news. And also Greg Hardy's not in the lineup, the starting lineup, but he will play quite a bit today.
You talk about an offensive weapon. Parade Jerry got in the end zone last week against Vanderbilt. Ashley Palmer, athletic linebacker, runs everywhere. And Jamarcus Sanford, he's a guy, he says, I said, who do you pattern yourself? Who do you like? He says, I like Troy Polamalu and Bob Sanders.
Yeah,
not bad.
They're okay. So out of the shotgun on a 3rd down and long for Florida. Across the middle. That pass is caught, and how about Riley Cooper? Or excuse me, that's Harvin. I think he picked up the first down. That's going to be very close. You're actually going to say it's about a foot or 2 shy of the first down. I thought he got over the 45.
A little short drag underneath, catches the football. Now this is a linebacker draped on Harvin's back, and he's going to carry Adam Walker for what looks like the first down. Very close, just short. The good job of Harvin getting north and south. Alan Walker there.
Well, Urban Meyer rolling the dice. 4th and very short. Something tells me 15 might keep this one. And he does, and he picks up the first down. Tim Tebow tackled by Tony Fine, but not before he gets out over the 45-yard line.
Now, this is not a surprise that Tebow carries on his 4th and short here. Tebow carried the ball 27 times last year for 166 yards against this Ole Miss defense in a great performance.
Chris Rainey now loses a couple of yards. Marcus Tillman leading the way defensively for the Rebels. There's Aaron Hernandez, a little slow to get up. Aaron, the tight end out of Bristol, Connecticut. Boy, the coaches love him. You're talking to Urban Meyer. His eyes light up when you brought up Aaron Hernandez.
Lost Cornelius Ingram in the preseason. He's a great weapon for him. They said, what are we going to do at tight end? Well, they had Aaron Hernandez waiting for the opportunity. All he's done is catch a couple of touchdown passes, but he's a little hobbled after that running play.
As you've seen, their last 2 opening drives, their last 2 games have resulted in touchdown catches by Hernandez. Tebow stands tall, fires. Pass is caught down at the 28-yard line by Lewis Murphy. That'll be about 1.5 yards or 2 shy. Kendrick Lewis from a safety spot makes the tackle.
Good job of Tim Tebow standing in the pocket. A lot of times you take off, he would have took off and run with that maybe last year. Now standing in the pocket trying to get the football. Maybe you talked about some of the number changes for Tebow running the football, but there was a classic example of him standing in and delivering it to a receiver down the field.
So 3rd down, we'll call it 1 yard. Cooper in motion, but they'll hand it to Rainey. Nothing happening. I think he lost 1 yard. And now Urban Meyer will have another decision. 4th down and maybe 1.5 yards or 2 on this one as Gerald Poe clogs it up in the middle.
Gerald Poe, huge body in there, 340 pounds. Just blows up the play. Rainey going nowhere. Chris Rainey, a smallish back. Patrick Trahan, the linebacker, also involved in the play. But the big fella, Poe, 340 pounds.
Boy, they've been waiting for him to play for this Ole Miss team. He initially signed with the Rebels in 2005, but it's taken a while due to some academic issues. Tebow on 4th down. Pressure comes. He's hit hard. Incomplete. And the Rebels stand tall and stop the Gators, and they will get the football back.
Dialed up some pressure, Dave. Came with some pressure, sped up Tebow's thought process. Chris Bowers in on the play.
Ole Miss getting it done defensive. Back in a moment. The new Heavener facility here at Florida Field. A little museum, a good history on Florida football, something that Urban Meyer had really been wanting to have, and boy, it's a beautiful building they have added to the stadium. Ole Miss takes over. Dexter McCluster, direct snap to him out of that wild Rebel formation, and Buzz talked about it at the top of our show. It's been successful in terms of averaging about 10 yards per play this season, but that time the Gators snuffed it out.
Well, it's a formation that's kind of caught fire across the country. You watched any of the USC game the other night. USC deployed it, and it's been there's several NFL teams that are using it now as well.
It's basically just to get your playmakers to football. Brandon Bolden this time out near the 40-yard line.
Well, we talked to Charlie Strong yesterday, Dave, about what they were going to do defensively against this, and they were going to check to a base look. They were just going to go to a 4-man line, 3 linebackers, just play it straight up and let their speed run to the play. A.J. Jones makes the play there, but they're not going to do anything crazy against it, blitz it or anything. They're just going to play it straight up. They feel like their athletes can make the plays.
So 3rd down and 1. Bolden in alongside Snead. He'll get the handoff, and he probably got back to the line of scrimmage, but that's not going to get you a 1st down. Brandon Spikes, the junior out of Shelby, North Carolina, making a play.
What a great read by Spikes, the run through on the little draw play. Ahmad Black was coming on the blitz from the backside. Snead had to hand the ball off. Bolden gets nowhere.
The Rebels will punt. Rob Park back to punt it away again. And it's a fake. Lionel Bro will pick up the 1st down, and the Rebels are in Gator territory. 15 yards. He only needed 2.
Hey, this is like an extension of the wild Rebel formation right here as he laterals the Bro coming back around the other way. Joe Hayden does an excellent job on special teams to get over and knock him out of bounds. James Shebest, former Arkansas wide receiver right there.
Gutsy call by Urban Meyer on the road early in a game. Pays off. Snead lofts it up. Yeah, Houston Nutt. I mentioned Urban Meyer. You know, Urban Meyer's been 6 out of 6 on his 4th down. So Houston Nutt pulling out all the stops on the road. Take a look at our Suzuki motorcycle scoreboard. You know, one of the last things that Urban Meyer told us walking out of his office yesterday was, guys, don't forget that this Ole Miss football team is a good team. And a good pass and catch. Jevan Snead hits Shea Hodge. Joe Hayden tackles him out of bounds.
Well, it all starts with protection up front. You got to give Jevan Snead some time. A little play action fake, see nobody around Snead's feet. And now an excellent route by Shea Hodge to get working against Joe Hayden as Hayden throws him out of the bounds. But a good job, good timing, receiver and quarterback. And we talked to Dan Mullen, who's the offensive coordinator of Florida, who recruited Jevan Snead when he was still at Utah in the transition coming down to Florida. He loves this kid. He thinks he's a great player.
Out of a wild Rebel formation to the near side. In the cluster, not much happening, but a flag down in front of that Ole Miss bench back at the 35-yard line.
There is no foul on the play for illegal formation.
Time for our Nothing Like It, presented by Crystal. And a few weeks back against Miami, the Gators set a school record for attendance, 90,833. They are posting their 118th consecutive sellout, going back to 1989 today. 4:30 to go in the opening quarter. The Rebels driving. Down the middle, passes caught at the 10. Down to the 2-yard line goes Shea Hodge, and it's first and goal, Ole Miss. A 33-yard pass and catch.
This is a kid that if you don't have enough pressure on him, he's going to cut you apart. An accomplished passer, little token play action fake. He's going down the middle of the field to Shea Hodge, who splits the safeties for a big gainer down inside the 5.
How do you have such a big gap?
Play action fake holds the linebackers, and now all of a sudden the safeties are responsible for 2 guys on the outside. Shea Hodge splits the middle.
It's Snead on the keeper. Touchdown, Ole Miss.
Well, Dave, it's what you call a naked bootleg. And the reason you call it naked is because you're out there all by yourself and they're undressing you and you're just exposed to everyone. He's got no blocking help here. Good play fake. Try to freeze the outside defender and then skate to the outside on your own. He was able to freeze Brandon, hits the linebacker just enough and get to the corner of the end zone.
Joshua Sheen to attempt a point after. It is up and good. Houston Nutt decides to go for it on 4th down in his own territory. The result, a touchdown. Back after a word for your local stations. Ole Miss 7, Florida nothing. Take a look at our Texas Beat scoring drive. Of course, 2 big plays, a 33-yard pass and catch that got him down inside the 5, but also Houston Nutt decides to go for it on 4th down and 2 on a fake punt. Keeps the drive alive, and that's the first touchdown allowed by this Gator defense this season. They had yielded just a field goal to this point. Justin Sparks to kick it off. James and Moore back to return it, and that will sail out of bounds. 1st and 10 Gators. Tebow to throw again. Pass intended for Cooper near midfield. Incomplete coverage by the linebacker Ashley Palmer. Already some guys getting knocked around. Let's go down and check in with Dave Baker.
Yeah, key guys on the offensive side, Dave. Jim Tart, the left guard, is out. Urban Meyer told us yesterday he's been battling bad shoulder. The reason he likes him being in there is the consistency, and there's less blown assignments.
Tebow will keep it. 1st down, Florida. Out to the Ole Miss 46-yard line. Tad Lorette brings him down.
Good job, Tim Tebow. He's going to read this. He's going to read the end spot. Look at the eyes. Read the end. The end crashes. He pulls it. Takes it around the edge. Gets a block from Harvin. Picks up the 1st down.
Tim Tebow, look at that number on the right, the far right. 0 TDs. Remember, this is a guy that accumulated 55 total touchdowns a year ago. 5 receivers, a nickel package. And Tebow trying to burn him just off the fingertips of Percy Harvin. Oh, he was there.
Ole Miss comes with a 5-man rush, and you like to see Tebow maybe put a little bit more air under this ball, threw it on a line a little bit. Very difficult to be accurate when you throw it on a line to Harvin. Harvin, a nice job of beating Jeremy McGee from the slot spot.
Boy, Harvin was wide open.
Boy, and Tebow did everything he needed to do there, Dave. He held the safety in the middle, did a great job of looking it off, and then just didn't put it on his receiver.
Now it's 2nd and 10. 5 receivers. Pressure comes. Tebow dumps it over the middle. It's Harvin down to the 25-yard line, making the 24, and that'll move the change. Cassius Vaughn trips him up.
Well, Percy comes in having been limited as a weapon so far this year, and a good job of throwing it under pressure. Harvin going to win to the inside versus man coverage. And he's so strong at the size he is to get upfield. Only 180 pounds, but still runs through the tackle of Cassius Vaughn to get the first down.
Well, Harvin had a career high 11 catches, 127 yards against Ole Miss a year ago. Rainey gets the handoff, breaks one tackle inside the 20, inside the 15. That's another Gator first down at the 13-yard line, and that will more than likely be the last play of this opening quarter. One of the all-time greats here at Florida, and one of the all-time greats in this league, Eric Rhett, being honored. 4,163 yards on the ground. The school's all-time leading rusher in that department. I don't think Emmett holds that honor. Emmett does hold the touchdown honor, which is ultimately what you want to do, get it in the end zone.
Yeah, but he is second to that gentleman right there in rushing yards.
Here's Tebow. He is stopped for a loss of a yard. Greg Hardy getting in. Greg Hardy bothered by a stress and fracture in his foot. Had a screw placed in that foot, but he is slowly but surely getting back on the field. Here's a look at the red zone, powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience.
And talking with Urban Meyer yesterday, Dave, what was it he said? He said, tell us a little bit about this Ole Miss defense, and he goes, 86 is back on the field for him. He's really good.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty simple. Yeah. 86 can play for Ole Miss. Here's Tebow. He can also play, but this time he's swallowed up again by this Ole Miss defense. Alan Walker, the first one there, and then Jerry McGee chimes in.
Ole Miss has done a nice job with their defensive front. They're really doing a good job, and it's allowing the linebackers to run up and make the plays. Defensive line eating people up, and Adam Walker comes up to make the stop.
Tyrone Nix on the right. Defensive coordinator came over from South Carolina to join Houston Nutt and his staff. 3rd down and 12. Keyston Moore in at tailback. Down. Tebow out of the shotgun. Pressure comes over the middle. Incomplete. Looking for Lewis Murphy. It was a little low. Cassius Vaughn was with the coverage, and now the Gators looking at 4th down and 12.
It's a great read by Tebow. He's got Murphy working down through the middle. You see the pressure in his face, and that short arms the throw. The hit just as he let the ball go, and Murphy couldn't squeeze it. Ball just a little bit low. Murphy could not get his hands underneath the football, hit the ground. Little late pressure there by Ole Miss affected the throw by Tim Tebow.
32-yard attempt. Jonathan Phillips 4 out of 4 this year. He's now 5 out of 5. So the Gators are on the board. Urban Meyer, though, doesn't want to kick field goals in the red zone. 7-3, back in a moment after a word from your local stations. Caleb Sturgis down to the 5-yard line, and Mike Wallace. Wallace out to the 25-yard line, and that is where Ole Miss will get the football. Young man was recruited by Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer when they were at Utah. Thought he was going to be the next Alex Smith. Well, then the coaching staff comes here to Florida, and then he was going to come to Florida, but then a guy named Tim Tebow was being recruited. That caused a change of plans for Jevan Snead. Brandon Bolden on that carry. And we asked Jevan Snead about it on the call. You know, he says, yeah, you know, I was going to go down there, and I thought I was going to be their guy. And well, Urban Meyer says he came down here, got off the airplane, and he started getting inundated with, hey, are you going to get Tebow? Are you going to recruit Tebow? And we know the rest of that story.
Yeah, I think there was somewhere in that conversation, you know, we think we're going to play this Tebow kid at linebacker. Well, 98 touchdowns in high school says you play quarterback.
Yeah, a rumor got started. You can see our Academy Sports down and distance marker. Snead lofts it up. That's picked off. Major Wright will set the Gator offense up at the 44-yard line. Pressure came from Brandon Spikes.
Brandon Spikes is going to come on the blitz from the linebacker spot. Number 51 right there. He's going to get into Jevan Snead's back, and it changes the throw. Becomes a wounded duck, and Major Wright, the free safety in the middle of the field, just playing center field, is going to pick it off. That's his second on the year.
That's a dream for this secondary. A ball floating in the air in the open field. But now Florida has some momentum. They set up shop at the 44. Tebow will throw all day. Lofts it up, and that's nearly picked off, but it's caught by Harvin. That will be a Gator touchdown.
Great protection for Tebow, and a great break on the ball by Kendrick Lewis, the safety. He just doesn't catch the football. He breaks on it, doesn't catch it, and Harvin catches the carom and takes it in the end zone. It's an excellent break by the safety to try to take it away, but he just did not finish the play, and Harvin does.
Phillips with the point after. You know, they say baseball's a game of inches. Well, football was a game of inches on that play. It could have been a touchdown the other way. Instead, the Gators have the lead 10-7. Back in a moment. Florida leading Ole Miss 10-7 here at the Swamp. 12:26 to go in the first half. Look at the Gators in terms of their turnover story this year. It is truly amazing. They have yet to turn one over, and Tim Tebow has stretched his streak out to 154 passes without an interception, but that one very easily could have been picked off.
Yeah, by the narrowest of margins, Percy Harvin comes up with that one, but think back to 07, only 6 interceptions in 07, Dave. He's done a great job of taking care of the football when he throws it.
So Sturgis will kick off again. Mike Wallace, this time from the 10. Mike Wallace, look at the speedster. Wallace across midfield and tackled down at the Gator 43-yard line. 48-yard return. It's a 1st and 10 for the Rebels. Snead going up top. Looking for Shea Hodge, incomplete. Take a look at our Suzuki Motorcycle scoreboard. Virginia leading Duke 3-0. Here it's 10-7. It's been an entertaining first half to this point in front of 90,000 on hand. Out of the I formation, Snead will throw, or attempt to throw, as he is sacked. Back at the 43-yard line, Brandon Spikes now has 3.5 sacks on the season.
Well, Florida learned their lesson in the first drive that ended up in a Ole Miss touchdown. Here they bring pressure, and this time that's Joe Hayden, the corner, coming off the slot area. He's their nickelback. Great blitzer. Talked to Charlie Strong yesterday. He said, we will come with at least 4 every time, and probably 5, and Joe Hayden's that extra guy off the slot.
Third down and 17. And the 3-man rush led by who else? Brandon Spikes drags Jevan Snead to the ground. Boy, when you can get a three-man rush and get to the quarterback, that'll make your D coordinator happy.
Now this one's on the quarterback a little bit, Dave. Got a little bit unsettled back there. He had a great throw to the outside. There's Michael Orr, the big offensive tackle, All-American, working against Jermaine Cunningham, and did a good job of containing the best pass rusher.
So the double weapons of James and Percy Harvin won't have the opportunity to return it, but I don't think the Gators will mind. A poor punt off the foot of Rob Park, and the Gators will line up at the 43-yard line. Just a 22-yard kick.
Urban Meyer was hot after that play. You get a call from your returner to get away from the football. Get away from the football. It hit the nose and bounced back towards Ole Miss. And David Nelson, one of the receivers who's on the punt team, was around the football. Urban just fired his headset to the sideline. And boy, you got Nelson's ear. That's not what we do here on punt return.
Tebow throws again. Harvin wide open on the far side. Knocked out of bounds at the 30 by Jamarcus Sanford.
Florida does such a great job with the combination of their routes. Harvin's lined up right here in the slot. He's going to run to the outside. Coming back to the inside is Riley Cooper. He pulls both defenders to the inside. Harvin sits on the sideline. Good read by Tebow to stick it out there. Nice job, Dan Mullen, designing that little combination, those two guys on that weak side.
Tebow started the day 4 out of 9. He is now 5 out of his last 5 throwing the football. Tebow, quick throw over the middle. It's Harvin to the 20. Harvin breaks a couple of tackles. Percy Harvin down to the 1-yard line. Jamarcus Sanford hit on the tackle, but how about Harvin slipping through a bunch of white jerseys?
And you talk about his elusiveness and what a great athlete he is, and what you forget about is how strong he is, and we've mentioned it a couple times. Just takes strength to split this tackle right here. He runs through 2 Rebels right there and muscles himself down to the 1-yard line. Nice job by Harvin to show the strength along with the speed.
Junior out of Virginia beats Virginia. So 1st and goal for the Gators. Tebow will keep it to the right side. Touchdown. His first rushing touchdown of 2008. It comes in game number 4.
And the rest of the SEC is hoping that they just didn't open the floodgates. It's a young man that ran for 23 last year. He just pounds it in. A lot of big people on that side. And Tebow stuffs it in the end zone. Something we saw him do a ton last year.
Well, he amassed between rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns 55 total TDs a year ago. Going after up and good by Jonathan Phillips. So 4 games into this 2008 season, and finally Tim Tebow has crossed the goal line. Ole Miss jumped out to a 7-0 lead here at the Swamp. But then Florida responds with 17 unanswered points to take this 10-point advantage into the locker room. 90,000 on hand at the Swamp, the 119th consecutive sellout. Let's go downstairs, check in with Dave Baker.
Urban, you told anybody to listen to this would be a battle, and some big defensive plays, big stand by your guys right there.
Yeah, two good teams right here playing, and it's SEC football. So our defense gave it a little drive earlier, and but our defense playing pretty well.
You've been able to create some pressure, guys coming off the edge and mixing it up a little bit.
Well, we can't sit in the same front. We're in with some 3 down, and Coach Strong's done a nice job calling some pressures out of 3 down.
All right, thanks, Urban.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. Urban Meyer goes to the locker room. He knows he's got a battle in the second half as his Gators lead it by 10.
Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Houston, you've talked about it all season long. You had the 1 turnover, and then you had the bad series right there before the half in the red zone.
And again, you know, we're good at helping people.
Yeah.
And we got to get a lot better. It's ingrained in us right now. We got to stop it. But we put together some good drives, had a couple good stops. But hey, we're still in the ball game.
You gotten some good pressure on defense.
Well, I'm getting some great pressure. Our front line's playing good. Just got to contain Harvin a little bit better.
All right, thanks a bunch, Houston. That's Houston Nutt, Dave.
Thank you, Dave Baker. Look at their first half possessions. That TD came on a 70-yard drive, but since then it's been 3 punts and losing the possession on downs. Tim Tebow This Gator offense, see, they kind of got it cranked up a little bit, mainly because Percy Harvin has been a big factor.
Yeah, he's got his partner in crime back there with him in Harvin, and he touched the ball 10 times in the first half. But really, this offense goes through Tim Tebow, and they got him back running the football. Here he pounds it in the end zone for his first touchdown on the year, rushing the football. But Tim Tebow really makes this offense go. Yes, Harvin is a dynamic part of it, but Tim Tebow is the guy.
Tim Tebow leads the team in carries with 7 in the first half, but a net 2 yards. Gonna throw those sacks in there. Ole Miss did a fantastic job of getting to him. I mean, there were a couple of times he had ample opportunities to throw the football, but for the most part, he's been under the gun. Justin Sparks will kick it off. That will sail into the end zone and out of the end zone. A perfect kick for Justin Sparks, so the Gators will bring it out to the 20-yard line. Of course, Tim Tebow coming off that Heisman Trophy season of a year ago, and we'll compare these first 3 games from last year to this year, and certainly it's hard to make a comparison because he hasn't had the football very much. This club averaging about 47 plays per game, so those numbers are a little bit skewed heading into this game, but today he's kind of got it cranked up with 172 yards through the air.
And let's not forget they played a good young Miami team in week 2 that skewed those numbers a little bit too. Very difficult schedule as far as Miami being early in the season for Florida.
Here's Harvin, first touch of the second half, picks up 8. Run out of bounds by Kendrick Lewis. Boy, first downs today have been very successful for Florida. Ole Miss coming into this game had forced their opponents into more third downs than any other team in the league, meaning they had been pretty good on first and second down defensively, but Florida having a pretty good go at it today. And the other story, the flip side of that, is Ole Miss hadn't been able to move it on their first down.
Yeah, and Coach Nix knows, and you heard Houston Nutt talk to Dave Baker about it, we've got to find a way to corral number 1, Percy Harvin.
Loose football. And that's what Ole Miss did. They corralled him and got the football when they have a turnover to start the second half. Kendrick Lewis comes up with the fumble recovery.
Florida pick and chooses their opportunities to run Harvin to the inside. Not really an in-between the tackles guy, but this is one of those ones that was clogged up. And the young man puts it on the ground. Big hit inside. Parade Jerry wrapped around the waist. The ball comes out. Good job of hustling to get on the football. Trahan gets the recovery.
Well, Dave Archer coming into this game, the Gators had not turned over the football. They were +9 heading into this game with Ole Miss, but they have coughed it up twice. McCluster in motion out of the wild Rebel formation. It's the freshman Bolden inside the 20. He will pound his way down to the 17-yard line. Take a look at the red zone, powered by Honda Generators for the ultimate tailgating experience. Ole Miss has been in the red zone twice today. They've scored that touchdown. And of course, had that awkward sequence. That's a nice way to put it, isn't it?
Excellent way to put it.
I was trying to find the right word for that.
They'll appreciate that.
Second down and 3. Here comes McCluster in motion again. Direct snap to Bolden. He'll work the left side. Breaks a tackle, still driving. And Florida never got him on the ground.
Well, Bolden is the big back, 220 pounds, and he shows you why. He runs through that tackle right there, a major right. He's an excellent tackler. And then Joe Hayden with a number of other Gators finally get him out of bounds. You're right, Dave. He never touched the ground here. They finally pushed him to the sideline.
Third down and about a half a yard. 5 consecutive running plays, and Ole Miss will split Jevan Snead here to the near side, and here comes McCluster in motion. The snap to Bolden. He'll keep it, working the right side. He might have lost a half a yard. Brandon Spikes read it well and made the play, and now you're looking at a 4th down situation, and Houston Nutt wastes no time in calling his field goal unit onto the field.
Well, this time Bolden makes a mistake. He skates to the outside, and you can see Brandon Spikes shadowing him all the way, and that's the anchor of the Gator defense right there. And when you got out his line of sight, he was going to put you on the ground.
Boy, 9 tackles for Spikes today, sack and 2 tackles for loss. Here comes Joshua Sheen to attempt a 34-yarder. The hold is good and the kick is solid.
That's a win for the Gator defense, Dave.
And Ole Miss on the other side will take the 3. 17-10 is our score at the Swamp. Ole Miss strikes first here in the second half. It's a touchdown game. Florida leads it by that touchdown. Even 11 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Brandon James will be pinned about 2 yards deep in the end zone, and here he comes. Out to the 20. Loose football. Ole Miss has it. Can you believe this? 3 fumbles from the Gators today. Marcus Tillman comes up with the recovery.
It's a read play for Tim Tebow. Brandon James in the backfield. He's reading the edge. Do I pull it? Do I keep it? And James obviously thought he was taking it out, and so he didn't take it. Marcus Tillman's there.
This is a team with no turnovers through 3 games. They have put it on the ground 3 times. They've actually put it on the ground 4 times. They were lucky to recover 1 of them. Here's Snead to throw on first down, incomplete. But David, if you're going to win on the road, I think for Ole Miss, they have got to start to take advantage of this. They can't keep kicking field goals and expect to walk out of here with a win.
No question about it. And that was what that whole play there was designed for. Normally your play action passing protection is your best. That time Florida still got pressure on Snead, and Snead looks a little bit unsettled at quarterback. He's had a tough time getting it going. Just 4 of 13 on the day.
Here's Snead. Quick drop going to the end zone. Batted around, incomplete. Janoris Jenkins working with Mike Wallace. Jenkins, that true freshman who they think will be a star before it's over.
He does a good job. He's playing off, first of all, and it's going to be tough down and near the red zone to throw a deep route with a corner playing that far off. Mike Wallace is their best deep threat. You mentioned it, Dave. Janoris Jenkins did a great job, the freshman.
First and 10 line there by Academy Sports. Excuse me, down and distance marker. Here's the screen pass to Kadora Eason. Touchdown, Ole Miss. My goodness. How about the play from Cordera Eason?
Well, we hadn't seen the screen pass from the Rebels all day, and so they set it up. Great pass rush. They let it go. And the big fella Orr is out in front. He gets a block right there. An outstanding job of Eason jumping over a Gator to get in the end zone.
Well, after the 18-yard touchdown reception, here comes Joshua Sheen. We are tied at the Swamp. 2 Gator fumbles here to start the second half have allowed the Rebels to produce 10 points and even the battle here at the Swamp. Back in a moment. 17 apiece. 10:30 to go here in the third quarter. Look at our Texas Beat scoring drive. Just 18 yards, 19 seconds, but a big touchdown. Eason with the 18-yard reception. Jevan Snead is now 5 out of 15 for 73 yards, a touch and an interception. Justin Sparks has done an amazing job on kickoffs, kind of pinning James in the corner. This time allows James to take it at the 5 with a little bit of room. That's always a scary proposition. Not over the 30 to the 32-yard line. So the Gators will take it to 33. Tebow keeps it with a shovel pass to his tight end Hernandez, and Ole Miss with a swarming defense. Boy, have they got some emotion on their side at this moment. Tony Fine and Ashley Palmer combined for the tackle. How about that to start the second half? 4 plays and 2 fumbles. And he is a man that just doesn't allow it. You know, you put the football on the ground for him, you don't play it. And as he said, I don't care if you're a superstar. goes to Demps, and it went nowhere.
Dave, I hear a little buzzing of some boos in this Gator crowd. Jerry there to make that play, but it's been about turnovers, about getting the ball out and creating yourself some opportunities, and this defense has done that. Last two series, the Gators have had the ball, they've laid it on the ground, and subsequently Ole Miss has turned it into 10 points.
Now the Gators are looking at a 3rd and 8. Thanks, Buzz, and they'll throw on 3rd down. And here comes some pressure. Tebow doing all he can to keep it alive, and it's incomplete, looking for Keyston Moore. He was well shy of the 1st down. Boy, Tebow has had, for the most part today, no time to get set in that pocket.
And you're not going to have a chance to see any man coverage versus 3rd and long, 3rd and 13 here, Dave. And a good job again. Hardy and Jerry get in on Tebow, and he has to try to dump it to a back. Boy, you know, you talk about Florida shooting themselves in the foot. Well, Ole Miss has shot themselves in the foot here today too. It's been pretty even. They dropped an interception, it ends up being a touchdown, and they don't get the score before the half. So I don't know that Florida's handing this game to them.
Flag down at the line of scrimmage. An awkward punt. Chaz Henry did all he could just to get rid of the punt, but I'm wondering if Ole Miss didn't jump the gun.
Henry's punt out of bounds at about the 45. Flag on the play.
Even if it was offsides on Ole Miss, it should be.
Illegal shift on the offense. That penalty is 5 yards, added to the out of bounds spot. 1st down.
Wow. That just makes it even better for Ole Miss. And the Gators having somewhat of a meltdown here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, this is the 3rd series for Ole Miss in the 2nd half, and this is the deepest they've been. The Gator 46.
1st and 10. 2.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. McCluster out of the wild rebel formation keeps it inside the 45, down to the 44-yard line. If he keeps his feet, he could have gotten a bigger chunk of grass. What makes that wild rebel formation so successful? Obviously, last year when they're running it at Arkansas and you've got McFadden and Jones, you know why it's successful. You know, good players here, but quite not that level.
No, they're not Felix Jones and Darren McFadden, but Dexter McCluster and Bolden have done a nice job. It allows the offensive line to come off the football. You stretch it with the guy coming across in formation, and you try to find that crease. McCluster's the speed guy, Bolden the power back.
Jevan Snead will get the shotgun snap. Throw it over the middle. Pass is caught. Mike Wallace spun backwards. They will mark him at about the 40-yard line, let's call it a 1.5 yards shy of the 1st down. Janoris Jenkins with yet another tackle for the Gators.
Better job by Ole Miss this time. They sprinted the quarterback twice in the 1st half and were not able to get him out on the edge. Better job this time to get Snead outside. A clear look to Wallace, and now 3rd and short.
Sierra Woodman of the world. Scoreboard in the upper right corner. Maryland now on top of Clemson. Here we go, 3rd and 2 out of the wild rebel.
I would think you have to. It's been good for him.
They'll split Snead to the top. McCluster at quarterback. He will keep it. Big hole up the middle. McCluster to the 30. Still on his feet. He will take it to the house. Touchdown, Rebels.
Number 22, Dexter McCluster. A 40-yard touchdown.
Dexter McCluster, a read for him as Bolden comes back in formation. He's going to come across the formation. He reads it. Does he hand it? No, he keeps it straight through the middle. And a great job in the middle by Davin Geralds, the center, to get the big fella block for Florida up front. Lawrence Marsh.
40 yards. And Ole Miss trying to put their 24th point on the board, and they do. Down 17-7 at the half. Ole Miss now leads 24-17. The wild rebel attack is going wild in the swamp. From what I've seen today, these guys aren't far off in wild rebel formation with Dexter McCluster and Brandon Bolden working in tandem.
McCluster came in averaging 8.2 yards a carry out of that Wild Rebel formation. Just added to that.
Well, 22 plays out of the Wild Rebel formation coming into today, and they were averaging over 10 yards a pop.
Kicking off for Ole Miss, number 89.
McCluster, 7 carries, 58 yards. Bolden, 11 for 55. But the big numbers on the top of your screen. Ole Miss 24, 4-17. James will have a great opportunity here from the 6-yard line. How great? How about out to the 50-yard line? First and 10. They'll fake it to Harvin and then throw it to him. 3, 4, 5, 6 white jerseys surround him. That is the 15th touch today for Percy Harvin. The Gators have run 47 plays.
Well, that touchdown by McCluster is like a shot of adrenaline into this defense. And it looks like Ole Miss is just a step ahead of Florida on virtually every one of these plays. That time they wanted to look down the field, throw it to Harvin in the flat. But Parade Jerry, the nose guard, out there to get involved in the play.
Get the play off. It'll be the last one of the third quarter, and it's dropped. The Gators put the ball on the ground to end the third quarter, much like they did to begin the third quarter. Ole Miss has stepped up to the challenge on the road at the Swamp. They'll take a 7-point lead into the fourth quarter when we return right here on Raycom Sports. A little bit of a shocked look on the faces of some of these fans. The Gators trail 24-17. 15 minutes to play in this one unless we've got some extra football in store. Gators averaging just 2.6 yards per rush today. Looking at a 3rd down and 10 in the opening play of the fourth quarter. Over the middle. Pass is caught at the 41 by Riley Cooper, but he'll be shy of the first down. So you're looking at a 4th down and maybe a yard and a half.
Brought down by number 41.
Our AT&T stats through 3 quarters. Gators only 60 yards rushing on the ground. Percy Harvin with 52 of those.
Turnovers down there at the bottom, Dave. The 3 turnovers, 2 that opened the half that allowed Ole Miss to put 10 points on the board.
Rebels not very good a year ago in the fourth quarter. Here's Tebow, keeps it. He'll power and bull his way inside the 40. I think that'll be good enough for the first down, but that's something Houston Nutt, going back to that fourth quarter, he has preached that since day one. You got to finish out these games. We'll see if Ole Miss can.
Well, Tebow realized I got to go north and south. We can't stretch this out, and he bangs it in there to try to pick up the first down.
Different story from a year ago when Tim Tebow rushed 27 times for 166 yards. Today, Tebow not exactly putting up those kind of numbers. See what he does here. Percy Harvin slips his way down to the 25-yard line.
You got to continue to get the ball in your playmakers' hands, and Harvin is the biggest of the bunch. Harvin's had an outstanding day, although he has laid it on the ground. It's a great job, little stutter step move there. Gets a block on the outside. Outstanding job of getting the field. Deontay Thompson, redshirt freshman wide receiver, got a block for Percy Harvin that time.
You would think after what happened to USC on Thursday, might be a little bit more fire. Lewis Murphy breaks a tackle.
Some of it, Dave, has to deal with Tebow's not playing very good today. He's had a tough day. He's struggling a little bit.
Look at our AP top 5. Of course, the big one coming up, Georgia hosting Alabama today at number 8, but Southern Cal losing to Oregon State on Thursday night. LSU, Mississippi State later. Of course, Florida sitting there at number 4. Second down and 9. James in the slot. Tebow looking, has some time, but now gonna have to pull it down and run it. He's got plenty of room to do so. Tebow to the 10, down to the 5. They will spot it at the 3. A 20-yard pickup for Tim Tebow.
Well, they're going to catch him in man coverage down the field, and all Tebow has to do is make a big defensive lineman miss from Ole Miss. He gets a good block down the field, but watch him make him miss right here. Outstanding shake in the hole. Makes Poe miss. That's a tough assignment for Poe. 340 trying to tackle the Heisman Trophy winner.
Tebow will keep it himself. He's at the 1. Tebow now with 12 carries, 14 yards when you factor in the sack yardage he has lost. We told you 27 carries for $166 a year ago. A little different afternoon here in the Swamp.
You got to credit that guy right there. Tyrone Nix done an outstanding job of getting this defense ready for this game. They are dialed in, trying to make a goal line stand here. It's got to be Tebow again here.
It's hard for a goal line stand when number 15's back there in the backfield for the Gators. They'll work the left side. Touchdown, Florida. The second rushing touchdown of the afternoon for Tim Tebow. That gives him 2 for the season. And the Gators with an opportunity to tie it up here in the 4th quarter.
This power football. Tebow going to go off tackle. And what you got to do is get your pad level lower than the defensive line pad level. And they do that. And then Tebow, with 230 pounds, is going to blow it in.
Jonathan Phillips to attempt the point after. And we are tied. 24 points apiece. Back to the Swamp after this. Tim Tebow showing a little bit of emotion after that touchdown to tie it up at 24.
Well, and this wasn't all he showed as he walked down the sideline and handed him the headset like they always do to talk to Dan Mullen. He went right into the kickoff coverage unit tunnel and was beating people on the helmet.
This kickoff sails into the end zone, and Mike Wallace takes a knee, and Ole Miss will bring it out to the 20. Here's McCluster. Out to the 15-yard line. Joe Hayden back on the field with the tackle.
We've seen the wild rebel formation virtually exclusively here in the second half. Jevan Snead has thrown a couple of passes in the second half, but it's been mainly McCluster working from the quarterback spot. Snead back in the game now.
On 2nd and 6. Nowhere to run for Brandon Bolden. A.J. Jones with the tackle is 4th today. It is apparent to me that in terms of running the football, if Ole Miss is going to do that, it's going to have to be out of the wild rebel formation.
Well, they're trying to show them a lot of different looks, but the wild rebel has really given them their best opportunity to make plays, and there you see the numbers. But at some point, Jevan Snead's going to have to complete a pass for him, I think, to win this football game.
Hey, he's going to have to make a play. On 3rd and 6. Wide open down the far side. Shea Hodge will go the distance. Touchdown, Ole Miss. There are no flags. 85 huge yards. And Jevan Snead just made a play.
Play action fake. It's always the play action fake that freezes things. You see the corner jump up. and not enough width from Major Wright, the safety, who has to cover up Shea Hodge, who's running down the sidelines. Great read by Jevan Snead, not to throw that underneath route, but to take the shot and find Shea Hodge on the go route.
8th touchdown pass of the year for Jevan Snead. Point after. Up and good by Joshua Seen. Back in a moment. 31-24. Just under 5.5 to play here at the Swamp. Most of the 90,000 in shock at this point. 4th-ranked team in America. Down a touchdown.
This is a defense that is giving them 6.5 points per game. 31 on the day for Ole Miss.
Here's James from the 12. Out to the 32-yard line. Let's go back to that touchdown from Jevan Snead to Shea Hodge.
Yeah, here's Shea Hodge, Dave, but I want you to watch this corner right here. His job is to play the flat. Now he gets threatened, freeze it right there. He's threatened, but where's Major Wright? He's nowhere to be found. He's got to cover that outside half. He didn't get there. Jevan Snead reads it, and it's a walk in the park for Shea Hodge.
So it was pretty simple for Jevan Snead. If they don't cover the short route, go there.
Nothing to hold Major Wright back to the inside. He should immediately got width right away to take away that outside throw.
Over the middle, Aaron Hernandez out to the 45-yard line, and now you're going to see Florida try to work this quick offense. They're going to need a couple of scores here unless they decide to go for 2 if they can get in the end zone.
Makes the stop at the 45.
Timeout situation, 2 apiece.
Yeah, a lot of time left. I think that Tebow would almost like to be in a little bit more of an up-tempo situation. But right now, a lot of time, 1 score down. Let's see him work the regular offense.
Harvin in the slot to the near side. Across the middle, he gets the pass. Harvin bouncing off some guys. He's to the 40-yard line. Gain of 15 on the play. Finally, Jamarcus Sanford brings him down, but another missed tackle. We have Ole Miss for 10 missed tackles today.
He's taking some shots, Dave.
And Harvin has been, you know, coaches told us, both Dan Mullen and Urban Meyer, that we want to get Percy Harvin more involved in the offense. We feel he's healthy enough. He has 18 touches today.
The way Ole Miss is playing defense and playing zone, Harvin's catching balls underneath, but he's taking some big shots from linebackers. He ran through the shot there from Palmer, but he's taking some big licks.
Empty set again on 1st down and 10. Pass caught down at the 30-yard line. They'll spot it inside the 30, so that'll be a 1st down. Lewis Murphy tackled by Sanford, but he picks up 11 on the play.
Hey, this is something we hadn't seen to this point, was somebody making a big-time catch for Tebow. Tebow's going to get pressured again, but he escapes to his right. Now he needs somebody to make a catch. This is a high throw, not a great throw, but he puts it on Murphy. And Murphy'd had a tough time coming up with a couple of low grabs. He climbs the ladder to make a big catch for his quarterback there.
And Percy Harvin back in the game for Florida. He sits in the slot to the top. Tebow looking for him over the middle. Pass is caught down to the 15-yard line. That's another 1st down. Boy, big chunks of yardage right now for Florida on this offensive possession.
Harvin's working against Jamarcus Sanford, the safety. Watch a little shake, make him miss, get to the inside, and excellent recognition of zone coverage. You didn't see Percy run through there. He shut it down in that zone so Tebow could put the ball on him.
Another 1st down for Florida. Looks like man coverage to the top. Pressure comes from Ole Miss. To the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Lewis Murphy, and that'll bring up 2nd down. Gators back in the red zone as we look at this red zone powered by Honda generators for the ultimate tailgating experience. And Urban Meyer can't stand field goals in the red zone, and they certainly don't accept one right here, I wouldn't think.
No, this is not where they want to settle for 3 in this situation. Good job again by Tyrone Nix on the defensive side, dialing up a blitz to try to rush Tebow's decision-making. Made him overthrow it deep corner.
3:34 to go. Some more pressure coming. Little option near side. Here's Harvin. Gets a couple of great blocks. Touchdown, Florida. They made it look easy.
Two great blocks, Dave, out on the edge. Just a simple option play, and they catch Ole Miss in man coverage. They bring the safety through the middle, man coverage on the outside. Keyston Moore's going to get the block to the left. Aaron Hernandez is going to get the block to the inside. There's Keyston Moore's block. Two great blocks. Hernandez and Moore get Harvin in the end zone.
Jonathan Phillips to attempt the point after. It's blocked! It sails out of the end zone. Are you kidding me? Holy cow! I believe Kentrell Lockett got there first.
And Urban Meyer feels like there was somebody that jumped in the middle, ran up and jumped over him. I think he initially thought he was helped over. Kentrell Lockett is the guy that got his hands on it. And he wants to know whether he helped over to get the block. Cannot assist a player. Can't use another player to propel yourself in the air.
Jump on another player's back due to injury concerns, but I didn't see any of that. That was just a flat-out block by Ole Miss. I just don't see it. Guys hurdling, perhaps, but I mean, this was just a good effort by Ole Miss. Just an amazing sequence of events, how quickly Florida moved the football down the field. I mean, they had trouble all day moving the football, specifically here in the second half. They looked good on that drive. This kick down to the 8-yard line, taken by Mike Wallace. Wallace out to the 32-yard line. Brandon Bolden, only a yard perhaps. Let's check in with Dave Baker.
Dave, I'm really surprised that Ole Miss isn't going with the deluxe Wild Rebel, because as you look at the clock, it's still running. Florida's got all 3 of its timeouts left. I know you want to get first downs, obviously, but you don't risk a handoff, and they have been so successful with it in the second half. I'm just surprised they haven't gone to it.
Well, you're going to see it right here, Buzz.
Here's McCluster. The Gators filling up all those gaps. And now Urban Meyer wants to use a timeout. Brandon Spikes in on the tackle. That'll stop the clock with 2:27 to play in this one. We'll return after this from the SEC. 31-30, 2:27 to play. Florida just burned their first timeout. Of course, earlier in the half, Urban Meyer with a challenge and won the challenge, got that timeout back. So 2 more timeouts remaining for Florida and 2 timeouts left for Ole Miss.
And credit this crowd here at the Swamp on that last play. Late snap on the silent snap count because McCluster didn't get a fake to reverse. Florida was at home to make the play on the straight run.
3rd and 9. Jevan Snead avoided the sack, got it out close to the 40-yard line. He's still 2.5 yards shy of the first down. Jermaine Cunningham will get credit for the tackle. And Florida will use 1 more timeout, and they are down to 1.
Now, I think you have to kick this football because you got to hope that your team continues to cover like they have. And what did Urban Meyer tell us yesterday? Not many teams go 80 yards for scores. Now, they only need a field goal, but it's very difficult to move the ball the length of the field.
A wobbly. Will be a tough kick for James to field. The Gators will get out of the way, and boy, an excellent job by Park. They kept it out of James's hands, and now once again it's not 80 yards, but it's 78 yards that the Gators will have to go. based on the Urban Meyer chart, when they get the ball in this particular area, out over the 20-yard line from the 20 to 25, they score a touchdown 36% of the time. Pass is caught by Harvin out to the 29, and they're going to have to hurry up here. One timeout left. That didn't do much for you.
But another really kind of a tough catch for a Gator receiver. Tebow has not been perfect today or dialed in like he normally is. A lot of low throws.
Over the middle. Harvin with another catch. First down out to the 42-yard line. Percy Harvin is having an unbelievable afternoon.
He gets in locked in man coverage. This is something that Tyrone Nix wanted to stay away from as much as he could, was Harvin in man coverage working against Cassius Vaughn.
13 catches, 186 yards for Harvin, both career highs. Tebow has time over the middle. Pass is caught down to the 42-yard line by Riley Cooper.
Number 11.
Ole Miss now, that defensive front locked on the line of scrimmage, not getting the pass rush they got earlier in the game.
First down and 10. Here comes Hernandez. In motion, he'll stop. Lofts it up over the middle. Louis Murphy had a step, but Tebow led him by a step. Oh, there was no safety help in the end zone. That was a touchdown if they connect.
Nix dials up pressure. They're coming with pressure. They realize they can't let Tebow sit back there. But credit Florida for picking it up. Look at all the Rebels coming. But the Gators pick it up and give their quarterback an opportunity. And just couldn't quite get the ball to Murphy. You're right, Dave. That was man across the board. No safety help. That's as dangerous as it gets.
There's Jonathan Phillips. The kicker as long as 40 yards, in case you're wondering. Tebow lofts it up again. They'll try Harvin. Off his fingertips, incomplete. Kendrick Lewis, boy, Tyrone Nix is asking a lot of his secondary to lock up man-on-man in situations like this. This time it was Lewis working on Harvin.
Well, Dave, this is a safety locked up on Harvin. I mean, obviously can run. He came as a wide receiver. Now he plays defensive back for Ole Miss, but he's a safety locked on the best receiver, maybe the best football player on the field.
Certainly one of your top 5 in the country. You could make that argument with Percy Harvin. 71 seconds to play. Third down and 10. Option near side. Here's Brandon James. James needed to get to the 31. They will spot it right at the 31. Clock continues to move. So Florida will lose about a half a yard, maybe a full yard after this spot. And they're going to go for it.
Now this has got to be the power package with Tebow.
He's your Heisman Trophy winner. He'll keep it. Second effort may have gotten it, but I don't know. If he didn't get it, it's your ball game. And Ole Miss will walk out of here with a win.
He didn't break the 32, Dave.
And Greg Hardy led the charge for Ole Miss on that defensive front. They didn't get it. They did not get it. And Ole Miss will stop the Florida Gators at the 32-yard line.
Well, they ran the ball to the right side, Buzz. They ran away from that injury, and really, I don't care who your running back is at that point, Tim Tebow's going to carry the football in that situation.
First and 10 line brought to you by IKBI Incorporated. And it's been a factor in this one. Unbelievable. How about Houston Nutt? This is a club that could have easily come in here 4-0. They came in 2-2 with some tough losses, but they come on the road and they come into the 4th ranked team's house in the country and pull off this kind of win, and they do it with a blocked extra point.
Dave, what's it say about what Houston Nutt has done for the change of attitude in Oxford? That's everything we heard about, was how much the attitudes change. We feel like we can win whenever we go somewhere.
Well, the clock hits 0. Houston Nutt with his first signature win as the Ole Miss Rebel head coach. They shocked Florida 31-30 here at the Swamp. Wow. Didn't see this coming, folks. The Rebels go to 3-2. 90,000 fans, or a majority of them anyway, will walk out of the Swamp. Only the second loss under Urban Meyer. The big play, Jevan Snead hit Shea Hodge on a 3rd down, backed up in their own end zone. And this is what it looked like. 85 yards. Shea Hodge will take it to the end zone. So for Dave Baker, Dave Archer, the rest of our crew, I'm Dave Neal saying so long, everybody. You have been watching Raycom Sports' exclusive coverage of Southeastern Conference football.